welcome back to AI Unpacked. I'm your host Kalyan, and today we're taking the next big step in understanding artificial intelligence. In episode 2, we talked about how AI starts with data tons of it. But what happens next?
You are listening AI Unpacked with Kalyanjit Hatibarua. And if listening on an Apple podcast, and do subscribe your podcast and Spotify, hit the bell icon to never miss. End episode.
How does that data get turned into a brain that powers tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, or Copilot? In this episode, we'll explore the heart of AI development, training AI models. So, what is a model? Let's start with a simple analogy. Think of an AI model as a musical instrument. When it's brand new, it can't play anything, it needs to be tuned. It learns to play by listening to music over and over until it can create melodies of its own. In AI terms, a model is a mathematical system that learns patterns in data. When we say training a model, we mean feeding it lots of labeled examples until it can make its own predictions or decisions. There are many types of models, but in modern AI, we often use something called a foundation model. What are foundation models? You've probably heard names like GPT, Claude, Llama, or Gemini. These are foundation models. A foundation model is trained on broad, diverse data so it can handle a wide range of tasks, answering questions, writing essays or code, translating languages, summarizing documents. It's like a universal student trained in every subject rather than one narrow skill. Examples of companies building these include OpenAI, which is GPT-4, Google DeepMind, which is Gemini, Anthropic, which is Claude, Meta, which is Llama. These models can later be fine-tuned for specific tasks like medical advice or legal research. How are these models trained? Now, let's talk about how the training actually works. Training a model is like trial and error learning. Here's a simplified version of the process. The model sees an input, like a sentence. It guesses the output, for example, the next word. It checks how wrong it was. It adjusts its internal settings slightly. Repeat millions or billions of times. This is done using a technique called gradient descent with an optimizer like Adam. To do this efficiently, the model needs a huge amount of labeled data, fast processors, and a lot of time. Training GPT-4, for example, took months and cost tens of millions of dollars in compute power. Now, let's discuss a real-life analogy. Let's compare it to teaching a child to recognize animals. Show 1. Picture of a dog. You say dog. Show 2. Picture of a cat. You say cat. Repeat this thousands of times. Eventually, the child learns to identify animals on their own. That's how models learn patterns from labeled data. And just like kids can make mistakes, so can AI, especially if the training data is incomplete or biased. Now, the training challenges. Let's talk about some hurdles in model training. Scale. Large models have billions of parameters, the adjustable settings inside them. Compute. They need specialized chips like GPUs or TPUs. Time. Training takes weeks or months. Data quality. Garbage in, garbage out. If the data is bad, the model will be too. Environmental cost. Training huge models consumes significant electricity and carbon. These are real challenges the AI industry is working to solve. The future of model training. As models become more advanced, researchers are exploring smaller, more efficient models, training with less labeled data called self-supervised learning, federated learning, training on device for privacy, safer, more aligned training methods. Training is getting smarter, not just bigger. Recapping. So today we learned what AI models are, how foundation models like GPT are trained, why it takes massive resources, and what the future of training might look like. In our next episode, we go deeper into the computing infrastructure that makes all of this possible. Who builds the chips? Who rents out the computing power? Don't miss it. And if you enjoyed today's discussion, share this with a friend and follow the podcast for more. Thanks again for listening to AI Unpacked. I'm Kalyan, and I hope you're walking away today with a clearer picture of what makes AI tick. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll catch you in episode 4.
A Pod One production.